We have a new cover-up related to Sadiq Khan and his net zero ULEZ, the ultra-low emission zones. And this story came out a couple of days ago. Obviously, yesterday we took a break, so I'm still going to be analysing what happened. A lot of you have already heard in the news and on social media what we're talking about. This is about leaked emails that relates to the so-called experts in the Imperial College that did an investigation on ULEZ, the impact on ULEZ. And they discovered that it's not really a good idea. It doesn't really have a big impact in terms of positive impact on the environment. But then Sadiq Khan's office decided to lash out. Now, the leaked emails, we got the leaked emails in this video. We're going to show you the emails, so watch the whole thing. This is about these conversations that showed Sadiq Khan trying to silence the scientists who questioned ULEZ. Of course he did that. This is not the first time there's been a cover-up story about ULEZ, by the way. A few months ago, we talked about how they did this consultation and survey and asked people in London what they think. And the result was actually negative, but they decided to play up with the numbers and create a fake outcome of that in consultation. And no one did anything about it, by the way, inside the establishment. So what is this? So these private emails were actually originally seen by The Telegraph. The Sadiq Khan's Deputy Mayor for Environment and Energy, Shirley Rodriguez, told Professor Frank Kelly of the Imperial College that she was really disappointed that these but they published these findings that questioned the effectiveness of ULEZ. It's none of your business how the findings have actually been concluded, because if you have relied on your experts and the scientific experts make their own decisions, you politicians, when we say you have to question your own science, we don't mean that you have to go and cover up the result. We mean have a meeting about it, get the evidence. Not say, well, can you just release a new statement, say that it's going to help London, ULEZ, and everybody loves ULEZ. That's what they did, by the way. So this was in 2021, November 2021. The headline said, Sadiq Khan's ULEZ has made only marginal difference to air quality. So, more polluting vehicles, not an effective strategy if you put a tax on them. This is according to the actual research. But there was a backlash inside the City Hall and Sadiq Khan's office. They were not happy. They started picking up the phone, calling Imperial College, sending out emails to Professor Kelly and demanding a bit of a retreat and reduction, let's just say. So this is Professor Kelly, Director of Imperial's Environmental Research Group. And these guys, by the way, have been paid more than £800,000 by Sadiq Khan's office since 2021. And it's interesting that considering they get funded by them, by Sadiq, they've also at the same time agreed to issue a statement partly written by Sadiq Khan's deputy saying that ULEZ actually helped to dramatically reduce air pollution. So let me get this right. They did their research. They published it saying ULEZ is not really that effective. Then they talked to the deputy mayor and Sadiq Khan's office. Then they decided to release a new statement, partly written by the same politician who complained, politician, not a scientist. So they completely changed the story, changed the result of the research. That's normal behavior in a democracy, right? All right, so this is the Imperial College, the study from the Department this is the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering that published in the journal Environmental Research Letters in 2021 that found that the introduction of ULEZ in 2019 cut nitrogen dioxide by less than 3% and had insignificant effects on ozone and particulate matter. So that's what they said as well. But at the same time, you had various other research and scientists coming out to do the similar thing, and they all concluded the same thing. But just because Shirley and Sadiq were angry about Imperial College's research, they decided to get in touch with them and say, just change your statement, essentially. So we have Peter Fortune, anti-ULEZ Conservative Assembly member, saying, it is unacceptable that Sadiq Khan and his deputy conspired to silence legitimate research because it would damage the mayor's reputation and credibility. Sadiq Khan has claimed that he is just following the science, yet he has been using scientific advisors to protect his own interests. Science relies on open, transparent debate. Absolutely spot on from Peter Fortune. Now, we're going to show you the emails now because It is quite weird how they are openly, they do know that these emails eventually get leaked, right? I mean, how many times do we have to go through the same thing where politicians say things in so-called private conversations? But these are not just private, because there is their official correspondence. But they don't realize that eventually we're going to see them at times, not all the time, but sometimes. So firstly, let's talk about the funding, because the Imperial's Environmental Research Group were paid at least 802,000, almost 803,000 pounds by Sadiq Khan. This is over the last 2-3 years, including a payment of 45,958 pounds for a report on the future health benefits of mayoral air quality policies. So they've been giving money to them to write the right research. Now, Councillor Colin Smith, who's the leader of Bromley Council, said when academics are paid for their research, it quite reasonably leads to questions being asked about the outcomes sought by those commissioning the work. Indeed, as long ago as last autumn, we directly challenged Imperial as to their methodology and the conclusions of some of their research ourselves, and the revelation of these emails now serves to seriously heighten those concerns. Now, no one is going to be held to account. No one's going to lose their jobs. No one's going to get fired. Everyone's going to continue to get paid from London's taxpayers. When we say Sadiq Khan's office, we are talking about the taxpayers, by the way, because the governments don't have money themselves. They have to take it from us. So these emails, let's talk about 2021, November 2021. This is one day after that headline that we showed you. Shirley Rodriguez, Deputy Mayor, said to Frank Kelly, Professor Kelly, that's really helpful. Can I suggest an amendment to the original statement? And then she wrote this: the actions undertaken by the Mayor's office to address London's air pollution challenge, including the introduction of the ultra-low emission zone, collectively have dramatically reduced air pollution in London and are providing a major benefit to the health of London's through an ongoing improvements in air quality across the city. In this respect, London leads where others need to follow. Would you be able to tweet and even write to the Times, Frank? Are you okay if Sadiq Khan is asked about the study to quote you saying this? And then Frank Kelly, under pressure, said, amendments accepted, happy to send to redact, well, this is obviously they redacted this name at the Times, the name of the person at the Times. Okay, happy for Sadiq to quote. It's like bribery, essentially. You own them. You own the researchers, saying, we are funding your research, so you have to say what we want you to say. It's lovely, isn't it? We also had in February 2023, a few months ago, this is about an urgent response to the Telegraph article. And this is from the Greater London Authority. Someone from the actual city, Sadiq Khan's office sent it to Frank Kelly, CC'd Shirley Rodriguez, saying, hi Frank, you'll have no doubt seen the attached article in today's Telegraph. We're wondering if you will be writing to the Telegraph to challenge some of the misunderstandings in the article. And then Frank said, apparently Imperial's press office is not keen for us to put a direct contradiction to the Telegraph article, but as always, I'm happy to fight back because you're paying me, right? Do you have a favored form of words that you were thinking for me to use? I mean, this is just embarrassing now for anyone in this scientific community. The guy is basically just asking for the wording of what he has to say, even though he's a scientist, allegedly. But he's asking the political office of the City Hall and the Mayor of London to do that for him. Even Imperial decided to say, well, we can't really contradict the truth in the Telegraph, but Frank Kelly wants to fight back. Well, yes, because he's getting paid by Sadiq. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. We're going to keep an eye on this story. I'm Mahyar Tousi, and we are the media.